Welcome in, Philly fans, to PM in the AM here on It's a Wrap Sports. Here's your hosts, Mike Laro, and the guy in the closet, Pat Bernard.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to PM in the AM. And, of course, that is the voice of God, the one and only Al Safari. I'm Mike Laro. The guy in the closet over there hiding his face is Pat Bernard. Pat, we got a lot to get into this morning, buddy. This baseball team, holy cow. I got to say, I'm at fault. I started this losing streak on Thursday with the split doubleheader. They've been just annihilated these last two games. And we got a lot to dive into. You did the post game yesterday for this Phillies game. And I my heart bled for you to have to sit there and talk about a 17-7 game where the Phillies never really had a chance of even making a remote comeback in this game. Pat, how are you feeling this morning? Because I know probably must have felt like you got taken to the woodshed as well, having to do the post game.
Well, that's the norm, going to the woodshed. But no, this Phillies team in the last 3 days, 48 hours. 3 days, 72 hours. This Phillies team has gotten. I don't know if the clock struck midnight with this Phillies team. I don't know if this team's hit a pothole. That's the thing in Philadelphia. Everyone seems to hit a pothole, but this team has not looked good. And we got to give credit to the Milwaukee Brewers. The Milwaukee Brewers batting has well scouted this Phillies offense, and it started with Luzardo yesterday. Luzardo was 5-0 up until this point, and then this is the first time he got waxed, right? And this was the first time I've seen him shell-shocked, couldn't come up with an answer. All the answers were given by this Milwaukee Brewers team. You had Rhys Hoskins, who stuck it to the Philadelphia front office. And if you missed what Rhys Hoskins used to do in this town, well, boy, he gave you his own highlight reel yesterday. Not one, but 2 3-run blasts. Are you kidding me? Deep to left field. And then the Phillies have the nerve to show a highlight reel of the guy. That's the last thing I want to see from Rhys Hoskins, how good he was when he was here. I don't need to see that, okay? My heart was getting ripped out. Then you have Will Contreras hitting the ball well. Jackson Couture, he's crushing it. He had himself a series.
That kid,
Christian
that
Elledge,
kid, that kid's a beast. That kid's a beast. Couture, he is a beast. He's going to be good.
Couture, look, Mike, the way this offense, that Brewers offense, they took their pitches. They're very aggressive. They swing at every fastball that came down the strike zone, and it paid dividends. And look, that fourth inning yesterday was the epic collapse, a snowball effect, if you will. Bad infield, defense from Luzardo yesterday, try and make it, a quick throw over to Alec Ball, and the ball goes wild. Nick Castellanos dropping some balls in the outfield yesterday. And the Brewers ate that up, and the Brewers came alive. There was no stopping that team. And like I said, this is the first time ever I've seen Luzardo look shell-shocked and just couldn't get out of his mind of how to deliver some pitches. Like I said, his fastballs were getting eaten up. He was trying some sweepers, stuff, low sweeper stuff. And the Brewers were aggressive and going after everything that kid was throwing.
Yeah, but you know what, though? Doesn't it seem the Phillies always have one of these losses every year? Every year they have a loss like this, or they have a bad series like this.
Well,
here's what I'm going to get at too, Pat, too. This starting pitching over the last week has not been great. I'm sorry. I had the doubleheader. Okay. Sanchez, for his last 3 starts, can't get out of the 5th inning. Okay. Zach Wheeler, I don't know what's going on with him, but he's not looking right. Okay. Taijuan Walker is what he is. Just the fact that he gave us something early on in this season was good. Ranger Suarez, to be honest with you, Ranger's kind of been the only kind of constant really going in these last 5 days. So, again, I'm not hitting the alarm button because, again, it is a 162-game marathon. You are going to get some valleys. It's going to happen. But the thing that gets me angry about is this offense. When are we going to get this Phillies lineup for everybody to be clicking? Like, I'm sorry, but since this roster's been constructed, everybody else can have a lineup that is clicking. The Phillies, it's 3 guys tops. It's always a certain 3 that are going to be carrying them for this amount of time. Then the next 3 take over. When can we get 1 through 7, at least, the guys 1 through 7 carrying this team?
Mike, you're
mind-boggling.
You're absolutely right. It seems like the only 3 people that show up on offense for the Phillies right now would be Schwarber, Turner, and the Philly Fanatic. Like, that's it. That's all you're getting right now. Because the rest of the lineup, I don't know. They've been ghosted. It seems like this team's not even interested. I mean, there's some swings. Yeah, Alec Bohm had 1 home run yesterday, but there's some swings that I see from him. He looks like he's just swinging just to get the inning over. And Bryson Stott's swinging at everything. I don't know if he's playing cricket. I don't know if he's golfing. I don't know what he's swinging at sometimes. I mean, he's lucky to make contact. And how's Remuto not in piggy land right now is beyond me. Beyond me.
Yeah. JT, I mean, I have no, like, I've lost faith in him, and he was one of my guys, man. I think me and Al probably advocated the most between EOP and here on these networks for JT. Right now I have no words for him. Like, between him and Alec Bohm, if they're coming up with runners in scoring position and there's 2 outs, I have no faith they're going to get a knock. I really don't. Now, as far as Bryson Stott goes, I don't know, but I think he was doing a lot better leading off. And I feel like if he's going to be your everyday second baseman, you got to leave him in against left-handers. Okay, like this whole thing of they go to a left-hander, they see a left-hander coming right away, they drop Stott either down the 7th, like leave him at the top of the lineup. He was doing well at the top of the lineup. I don't know why they're messing with that.
And you know what, Mike, that's an interesting point too, because I don't know if that's playing mind games with him. You know what I mean? 1 minute, okay, I know I got to prepare and play strong, being the leadoff guy. And then it's like, all right, well, I'm going to drop you to 8th because it's against a righty. Like, I can't have that. You can't be playing mind games with your own players. Yes. Like I said, he's batting so-so. Again, he only had 1 hit. But I agree with you, Mike. He needs to get out of his own way.
And here's another thing too, Pat, with the Phillies too. I'm sorry if I cut you off, bud.
No.
But they got to make up their mind too with Harper. Like, if he's not going to play, sit his ass. Put him on a disabled list. We got guys down at AAA right now smacking the cover off the ball that should be up here in Philadelphia that they're not going to bring up. Buddy Kennedy and Otto Kemp are tearing the cover off down there. Okay, so is Crawford. Let's start bringing these guys up. This bench, I'm sorry, it's Amundo Sosa, and that's it. Like, it's mind-boggling. Like, why is it? And this is me and Mike Papernick, our great chatter who comes on with us. Me and him were discussing yesterday. Okay, why is it that the Phillies put such a high price tag on their, I guess, assets? I'm going to say, which is their minor league system, where everybody else, the Dodgers can do it, the Braves can do it. 22 years old. If they got a guy who's throwing fire and he's 22, guess what? The Dodgers are bringing him up. The Cardinals are bringing him up. The Braves are bringing him up. Why do the Phillies got to hold on to him until they're 26? And it's been that way ever since Carpenter owned the team. Like, this is frustrating. We need an influx. You need an influx of young talent. It is crazy.
I couldn't agree more, Mike. I mean, you're right. There's no life on both sides of the ball. Right now, like you said, the starting pitcher has sucked the life out of you right now. But your offense has been ice cold. And maybe because the offense or the pitching has been putting you in a hole as of late, that you can't, maybe you're over aggressive, maybe you're overthinking at the plate and all these other things that you're not making great contact. Like you said, if you're not, listen, now you've lost a couple games. Now the Cubs, the Mets, the Dodgers are all tied with you to run the NL. So
yeah, but
like you said though, but Mike, to further your point, bring up Mike Abel, bring up some life. You need it because there is no life. Like you said, if Bryce Harper's not in here, bring somebody up. It's like you said, those other teams, the Dodgers, the Cubs, the Mets, they quickly fix their issues. Where we hit a pothole and we've yet to fix the pothole problem.
Well, here's the thing, and I'm going to bounce back here at Ryan Swope. If he comes up, he's going to be a bench player. They're not going to put Otto Kemp in over Amundo Sosa. So I'm sorry there, Ryan. They're not going to do that. And I don't think, to be honest with you, Otto Kemp's got to prove that he belongs to be an everyday player up on here. So I'll tell you what, I like the I like how the kid's playing. But speaking of Pat Burdick, we were both talking about this yesterday about him leaving Luzardo, and again, to me, what else? I don't think it's going to hurt Luzardo. Luzardo's a veteran. He's been around. He may have told them, "Look, I'll stay in and take the beating so we can save our bullpen." You know what I mean? So I mean, it is what it is.
And I don't know, Mike, if you saw Lazar, Mr. Topper wasn't around that much in the game because after that fourth inning, because I guess the way the things, how the game was playing out, Topper got thrown out over that ball call. Now, I don't know if you agree with the ball call.
It was close. It was close.
But Topper got mad. And now I'd like to get your theory on it as well. How did you see that ball call getting played out? Were you in agreement or not?
Here's the thing, Pat. Like, if you look at it, it looked like a balk. It looked like a balk. So, I mean, it was close. Like, when they slow it down and show you on TV, okay, you got to remember you're going at a slower rate of speed. It's not full speed. If you're looking at it naked eye, man, it looked like a balk. And he called it. So, I mean, listen, I understand what Robbie did there. His team's getting waxed. But to be honest with you, I don't feel like they should have the message of him going to bat for his team should have happened Wednesday or Thursday in the first game of the doubleheader. Ronald Acuna should have got a ball in his ribs.
Yeah,
plain and simple. You want to send a message to your team that you're not playing around? You drill Acuna right in his ribs. And now, guess what? You injured one of our star players. We threw at yours. That's where I feel like there might be a little disconnect between the players and Robbie now. Just something to keep your eye out on because he did not retaliate. He did not retaliate. And I'm sorry. I think that could lose a message. That could lose a locker room. Locker room's good. I mean, Kyle Schwarber could be sitting there going, dude, somebody plunks me. Is this guy going to retaliate and throw back?
Yeah.
Hold on. And if that does happen, where does that leave Harper? Harper's going, my man, I got a busted up elbow out of this. You didn't even throw at him.
Yeah, Mike. I mean, listen, you raise a good point. And like I said, this team hasn't looked good, like I said, in the last 72 hours, giving up 32 runs at home. It's not good. And like you said, for this team not receiving for Bryce Harper, you might have lost the locker room already. And this team has not responded well at all. And my thing is, how do they move forward? And I got it. Ranger Suarez is going to be on the hill today. Hopefully he get things in the right direction. But, man, if this team falls in an 0-4 hole again, I don't know. But so to me, it's like wake up and smell the coffee, Phillies, because now you don't face the A's. You're not facing the Pirates.
Listen, you can't.
You're playing against them.
Right. You can't argue about the schedule. You can't argue about the schedule.
No. But my thing. My thing is you bundle up and put away the bottom feeders. You're playing against the hottest team in baseball. How do you, if you're the best team in baseball, you got to learn how to cool that down. This is like preparing you for the postseason in at an eye test rate.
Okay, but I'm going to tell you, look at the other teams that are tied with the Phillies or even above the Phillies. Like, Pat, take a look. They've all gone. Like, everybody goes through this.
Yeah.
Like everybody here and certain guys on this network, Mr. Matty B, it makes it seem like, like they're not allowed to go through a losing streak. Like, it happens all throughout baseball, man. It happens. Yeah. But, going forward with this, it's not going to be something that I think is going to be sustainable. The Phillies are a good team. If you take a look at it against really good teams, okay, they're like 10 and or no. Yeah, they're like 10-8 against good teams. So, I mean, they have a winning record against good teams. So you can't use that narrative. Oh, well, it was a good team. Can't use that narrative anymore.
Here, listen, I got to jump in on this because I'm sure there's some people out there who watched me on Friday night who were probably sitting there going, "Oh, I can't wait to see Al on Sunday and give them a piece of my mind." But listen, man, here's the thing: there's a couple different aspects of it. Yes, this is a bad moment in time so far. I go by time frame. That's how I kind of look at things. Like, I'm looking at 3 games right now. They're not looking good. Absolutely. Like, not even looking good. They're looking horrible. They're looking pathetic. They're looking like you shouldn't even wasted your time watching baseball over the last 2 games, 3 games, I should say, because it was last 2 days, but 3 games. And I said on Friday, I said it's how the team responds to a loss like that. And they did not respond yesterday. If anything, they did the adverse response. Topper getting ejected. I'm trying to be a jerk here, and I'm usually a Topper guy, but right now I feel like he went out to the guy and said, like, just throw me out. Throw me out. Hey, listen, that call was terrible. Throw me out, please. Just throw me out. Like it didn't like. I don't know. It just seemed like it was a really nonchalant thrown out. It wasn't a guy yapping in his face, chewing bubble gum and spit flying out of his mouth and pissing off the ump type throw out. But I think it was more of like, let me show these guys they need. I'm going to do this for them. I don't know how much because they didn't throw after Harper got injured. If that means anything, I mean, it depends on the mentality of the player. I don't know of the clubhouse, but the player. Like some of them might be upset. Maybe Harper would be upset. Maybe I don't know. I don't know how these guys would react to that. But overall, it's I'm not. This team is right now in the last 72 hours, like Pat said, is horrible, just absolutely horrible. Yeah, and Mike, you said coming into it, like this team, every team has bad games. Great Dodgers will have a bad game where they lose 8 to 10 runs. It
happens. It happens in baseball.
Lewis had one recently too. Cubbies had one too. But the problem is we were hot and everybody else wasn't for a while. Now everybody else is getting hot again. You look at the Mets and us. We are tied at 621 winning percentage. In the top of the National League East, they are 7-3. We are 6-4. Okay. The Cubs are 8-2. The Brewers are 7-3. The Dodgers are 7-3. So, the Brewers are a hot team right now, but we can't. We have to play one game at a time. It's a third of the way through the season. We can't sit here and say, all right, that's it. Here it is. But some people had good points, and I think Nooms was one of them who said it. I think Mike Papernick or somebody said it too. A couple people said earlier in the chat as I was reading through. Sometimes there's a catalyst needed. When you're playing well against bad teams, and maybe this will help Dombrowski and them say, okay, all right, we were doing good, but we can't be fooled by how good they were doing. We still have blemishes on this team, and we need to fix it. And that's what we have to hope from this situation, that they can fix it and bring it up. And the Otto Kemp thing, I agree with Noom said earlier. I don't think they have any urge of bringing him up here this year. I think it is, if they bring him up here and he looks bad in the majors, his value drops significantly. I think they're leaving him right where he is. I think we can stop dreaming of the Otto Kemp days coming up here and playing enough to make it worthwhile. It would take a handful of injuries that would just be not good for us in the overall long-term scheme of things.
Well, Al, before I rebuttal to you, I want to rebuttal Ryan here. Ryan, if you've been watching us, when they made that Logan O'Hoppe trade, the very point that you're making, I made. I made the same exact point that you are there. What I'm telling you is, if you've known the Phillies and you've known their organization, no guy has come up here from the minors unless their name was Ryan Howard, immediately jumped in and started. Not even Chase Utley, okay? Chase Utley didn't come up here and just start right away. He was a bench player for about 2 games before he got his first initial at bat and got put into a starting lineup. So, yes, I'm going off of trend of what the Phillies, I guess, front office does. Now, rebuttal and Al, I think you're right about the whole, hey, just friggin', throw me out. Yeah, I can see that. But let me ask you a question. What do you guys, and my kids actually in the comments here, you actually brought up a good comment. Would you kick the tires on Trevor Bauer?
Listen, man, I have said kicking the tires on Bauer last year when they didn't have great depth in the starting pitching rotation. As of right now, they have a good starting pitching rotation, except for the last couple of days. Even Zach Wheeler not having a good day, and this goes to show you, was it more pitching or was it more hitting at times? I think it was a little bit of timely hitting, but starting pitching carried this team a lot. And when the starting pitching falters, the rest of this team falters, and it can't happen. And that's where a good team, and this is where the Phillies are showing not signs of a good team, is if your pitcher is struggling, you need to be able to pick him back up.
Oh, but
and not getting one run in after the team scored 12 until the team scored 12 is unacceptable.
No, and I do want to touch on something, not to get too far off track though, but I think Mike is on to something though. You know, when Topper didn't, give the payback for the Harper hit, I want to say that, like, yes, right, him stepping up and coming out of the bullpen trying to fight or coming out of the dugout and fight for Luzardo. I think that was him trying to say, hey, no, I gotta fight for my players. It seems like I lost the locker room. I gotta try to show some kind of life to my team. And like you said, at the end of the day, he's like, here, look, he knows he was going to get ejected, but here, look, let me try and show some kind of faith to my team. But hey, listen, man, look, getting Bauer in here, look, desperate times is desperate measures, like you just said, Al. You look, if this is going to be the rabbit hole, and maybe it's not, maybe they'll get themselves back up and running in the Toronto series, and the Brewers are just swinging the bat well. But if they are going to continue this rabbit hole, because what happened last year in that Oakland A's series, that's when things the wheels start to fall off the bike. So if they do, man, listen, desperate times, sign up for desperate measure, give the guy another chance and bring him in.
But are we at desperate times just yet?
No, not now, not yet. It's eyebrows raising, getting pushed around at home, giving up 32 runs in 72 hours. It is eyebrow raising. But no, we're not need for the panic button just yet.
I'll tell you what, today's going to be a good matchup too, because going for Milwaukee is a guy who's pretty much had our number, and Jose Quintana. So it's Quintana against Ranger Suarez. I think it's going to be a great game today. I don't think Rangers been kind of moving up and up and up, coming in, and if you look, him and Quintana's numbers are like eerily similar, like. Quintana's 4-1 with a 2.65 ERA, 24 Ks, 11 walks, 1.24 WHIP. Ranger is 4-0 with a 2.97, but he's got 31 Ks and 10 walks with a 1.19 WHIP. So they are eerily similar, and I think it's going to be very, very hard for runs today. I don't think they're going to come in.
Well, this is where this team, like, and Ryan here, Ryan said this to me on Friday night, and I said this trend seemed to change a little bit more this year than it did the last few years in the small sample size of the year that we've had. Now, in the smaller sample size of the last 3 games, it looks like he's exactly right. And when every guy goes cold, like Pat just said earlier on, like one guy goes cold, everybody's going cold. You have no Harper in the lineup, so it's even colder now. Like that's. Those are the things that, they have to overcome. So there is going to be some adversity, and this team needs to be able to, learn. They need to learn from this adversity. They need to build off of this adversity. And that's where we'll know if they are ultimately a championship team. I can't tell you they're a championship team in May or now June 1st. I can't tell you if they're a crap team that's just going to bottom out in the playoffs June 1st. And I can't tell you that they are the worst team in actually, I can tell you they're not the worst team in baseball. You know what I mean? They're the worst team right now. Looking right now in the last 72 hours, probably one of the worst teams in baseball. And I'm guaranteed there's probably a few teams that are so bad they would trade places with the Phillies right now. But in the last 72 hours, I would say. But overall, no, this team needs to this is like, I don't know if it's like, all right, an all-team meeting, no coaches allowed time moment. But this is a time where the team needs to sit around in the locker room, sitting on their benches in front of their lockers with the coach and all the other coaches walking around, just putting it all out there. Feelings aside, everything's on the table, blah, 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 blah.
And that's Mike, and I got a question for you too. And despite all that, like Al, you're talking about the coaches, right? Like Luzardo was throwing his fastballs, and it just seems like every time he was throwing the fastball, whether it was inside, outside, anywhere around that strike zone, he was getting waffled. He was, like I said, he throws a not one but two outs. Try to go for two outside fastballs, and Reese Hoskins delivers not one but 2 3-run blasts off of it. I just don't know where was maybe there could have been some kind of adjustment in his own mind. Like, I got to try to pitch around like a curveball. So and stay away from the fastball. And instead, he kept on going back to it. And guys like William Gutierrez or Jackson Coro would just make him pay the piper on it. So, like, where was that in-game adjustment that he needed?
That, again, listen, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this team has been perfect so far. No, and actually they've been able to, for the most part, move past their blemishes. Take like Alec Boehm. He's one I use as an example. I mean, he's batting, let's see, Boehm is at 270 right now, right? I mean, he was sub 200 coming into May, and he was able to get up over 270 at this point. It's pretty good considering the fact. But there's a lot of other blemishes that this team needs to fix. Fix internally, and some of it's going to need to be fixed externally. Evan's here saying everyone. I'm guessing he's talking about Bauer, right? Everyone deserves a second chance. Phillies need his services. It's match made in heaven. He's unapologetically good and matches the city's expectations of play well, and brag about the Phillies need some swagger, and the bats ain't doing it. So here's my thing is, and when I see a guy who apparently is still really good according to everybody else. I wanted Trevor Bauer here last year, but we're not the only team struggling, right? At times, there's been plenty of teams in the last 2 years who have struggled. Let's say 2024 and this so far in 2025, who have struggled mightily more than the Phillies have, except maybe in the last 72 hours. And nobody's taken a flyer on him, so there has to be more to the story that we don't know about.
Right.
I'm not saying a man doesn't deserve a second chance, but is he blacklisted, in MLB? Like, is he just never going to have a chance here again? You would expect. Like, take the Brewers, for instance. The Brewers, we lost an opportunity on Friday to beat a bullpen game. That was a bullpen game for them for the most part. I mean, even though it was only 2 pitchers, but it wasn't a typical starting pitcher and then, guys come in. It was kind of like a flip-flop game. Like, the guy went 3 innings and the other guy went the rest of the way. But they missed an opportunity just being really bad, and not taking advantage of it. But the Brewers have I think Friday night was their 12th starting pitcher of the season. That's pretty crazy. Not even June 1, and they've had 12 different pitchers start a game. That's not heard of very often. So, and then if it is, and we all know what it's like from last year, because that was a big gaping hole for the Phillies, was that 5th game in the rotation. But that was when I wanted Trevor Bauer. I don't understand why he would be. I don't know why. There's more to the story that we don't know, that maybe we'll never know, maybe until he's retired and he's in the 60s and they do some 30 for 30 on Bauer or something like that. That we don't know right now, and for whatever reason, nobody's taking a flyer on him. So I don't know why, but I just think that's just a conversation that's never going to be had. I mean, that's my 2 cents on it.
Ricky is watching.
Thank you, Ricky, for watching, and everybody else.
Hi, Ricky. Cousin Steve's always checking in. He's saying if the Phils go 3 places, get 3P by the first place, get swept by the sweeping the Mets by mid-June, it's probably okay. If it goes other direction, you might see more of a shakeup.
So what he's saying, if they go 3 games behind a first place, but then sweep the Mets in mid-June, and then probably it's okay. If it goes the other way, where the Mets come in and because they already swept us once, so they need to, they need to kind of, what he said, they need to kind of balance the chains. I got a little bit here. He's got to balance it out a little bit. But if they go in there and they lose to them, another 3 games, and right now we are, tied at 36-22 at 621. It's funny because we talk about home away records. The Phillies are almost pretty close to the same record. Your home and away. It's 19-11 home and 17-11 away. So they're not much of a better home team or away team this year as they were the years before. And it's almost, I mean, they're 50-50 on their losses, losing home and losing away as of this point right now. And here we go. I have to put this up here because
this is the most overrated statement ever. And I'm going to say,
I think he has this on copy and paste.
He must be. And you know what? This will be a hill that he's going to stand on right next. You know, he butted this hill up against the Howie Roseman hill, but it's not the same team because the teams in 22 and 23 couldn't play small ball. This team has shown in this limited sample size of this year that they can play small ball.
Except though, if you want to give them any whatever, when they struggle, it struggles, you can see it. Like it's very real. Like I think somebody said it earlier. I think Adam said it earlier. Like they're swinging at everything, and they're swinging in the dirt. But this is what they do when they struggle. They go for it's like they go back to their bad habits. Like they're trying to reach over the fence the whole time, thinking that one home run is going to make a difference. Instead of just, I'm a believer, and I said this on Friday. I'm a believer if I want to see a rally against a team that's got like 6-7 runs on you, and there's a possibility of a rally, you got to put base runners on, put more pressure on the pitcher to throw bad pitches. You can be down up 8-0, let up a home run. Now it's 8-1, and your mentality as a pitcher doesn't really change. But if you're down 8-0, and then you let on a guy on the first, and then maybe walk a guy, now it's guys at first and second. Then a guy comes up, hits a single, and scores one guy. Now you got 2 base runners, 1 out, 2 no outs, whatever. That puts more pressure on a pitcher to me than even guys coming up going back to back on home runs.
Yeah, go ahead, Al. Go ahead.
No, I want to agree with Al here. I don't think the team Mike. I don't think the team is bad. Why can't we just look at from the other side of the grass here? Like the Brewers are a good team. They're catching fire. They're the hottest team in baseball. They're making great contact. They're being aggressive at the plate. They're getting the pitches they want, and stuff is just going their way. Reese Hoskins looked great yesterday with 2 3-run blasts. Jackson Couture, Friday 4 for 5, 3 for 5. Yesterday 4 for 5. Like the guy with a homer. Like this guy is crushing. Will Contreras, crushing the ball. Like they're getting guys in their top part of their lineup that are just eating and raking now.
Listen, the Brewers are getting hot right now, and teams are going to have that, just like the Phillies. They're going to have hot moments. They're going to have cold moments. Again, it's about stability. It's about making the right moves when the moves come. Like it's all those kind of things. Like it's like,
and I get it too. Matty B views PM and the AMs like the Three Stooges. I get it, all that, but
Matty B views everybody as a stooge, and then there's Matty B. Let's just call it for what it is. But this isn't the 22, 23, and 24 team so far. I mean, it's definitely not 2022 because this team came struggling out. Like they were on the struggle bus. I mean, they were. By June 1st, they were way below 500. There was really no signs much of anything in 2022 outside of some what we thought was mediocre pitching outside of Zach Wheeler. And then June came around, and then they were the hottest team in baseball. 2024 was the opposite. They came out like gangbusters and looked like the hottest team in baseball. We had them all trajectory of 105, 108 wins, or 100, like breaking the record of like 112 or whatever the win record is in a single season. And then they just were mediocre the rest of the way, and had games. How many games like this did we see last year later in the season where this team just got thumped? And 2023, they were more like the 2022 team in 2023, but I feel like 23 and now they're more alike. If you want to compare to any of the three, they had a lot of plus minuses, but they needed some holes to fill. And again, I'm going to keep saying this until they prove me the otherwise, because I'll change my point if the time comes. I'm not going to agree with something because they have had 3 bad games. They're still tied for the best record in baseball with 2 other teams. Or actually, I don't know if it's the best record in baseball. The best record in the NL right now, between us and the Mets and the Cubs.
And the Dodgers.
Four
Dodgers. So 4, all 621 winning percent right now.
And here's the thing, right? They, just to let you guys know, I think it was either last night or the night before. I think it was last night. The Yankees got smoked in LA 18-2. And the Yankees are a 35.
Yeah, Adam said that earlier.
Yeah, they're a 35-win team. They're right up there in the they got the second best record in the American League behind.
Well,
Detroit.
they just suck.
Right,
Mike, they suck. All right, Yankees fans should just stop going to games. You know, I gotta listen. I'll be honest with you. I might have to apologize to a couple guys in this chat on Friday. I got a little aggressive with some of my stuff, and I said, and it was more with Matty B. I'll be honest with you. When he came on, me and him went back and forth for a little bit.
Yes, I watched that. It was great.
And I said, if this true, if this, I'm gonna go back to the statement for a second, guys. I'm gonna get to the other comments in a moment. But if this statement is true, then why are you even watching this season? if it's the same team and you think the same exact thing's going to happen, it's like going to a restaurant. If you went to the restaurant 3 times and the food and the service was crappy or not up to your standards, because that's what I'm going to say is to say the teams were crappy those years. No, they had crappy outings or crappy exits, I should say. But ultimately they were really good teams. But if you had the same experience at a restaurant 3 years or 3 times in a row and you go back for a 4th one, whose fault is it now? You know, so
True.
if this is if how you truly feel, Matty, or you're just getting up every morning just to brush your teeth and say, I told you so. Like, is that what we're here for? No, we're here to get better. I'm here to notice that this team has blemishes. I'm not denying those blemishes, but I just feel like they're blemishes that can be fixed. The starting pitching right now over the last 72 hours has been clunky. I feel that can be really rectified with just time. Time will fix that. Aaron Nola, see what's going on with him. I would love to know kind of an update on him. I would like to see them send him to, I know they won't do it most likely, but I'd love to send him to the minors for one kind of give me game, if you want to call it that. Like just 4 innings where he can go in there and go against guys of lesser, prowess and see how he does. But if this is how you're living, what's the point? What's the point of watching baseball at that time?
And like I said, I don't think it's a bad team. I just think they're dealing with a team that's playing really, really high. Obviously, their best team in baseball.
But you said it, Pat, that they should be able to. If you're a good team, you should be able to respond to that.
And you should. And listen, it's not like you just said too, Al. The team's dealing with issues. Like we keep on forgetting. You don't have one of your better pitchers in your lineup. You're one of your better batters in your lineup, maybe your best bat in your lineup. You're dealing with one of your best closer who's dealing with off the field issues. So you have a lot of stuff that's going on. Maybe some stuff is starting to catch up with the Phils. We don't know. And maybe starting in Toronto on Tuesday, they could turn things back around, get a momentum building against the Blue Jays. And fix it. I'm not gonna say the season's lost. Forget it. Wash away. Let's go to next year. No, there's still plenty of
wait a minute. Hold on. The Blue Jays are 2 games above 500, just like the Brewers. It's going to be the same thing that happened, guys. It's going to be the same crap again. Listen, this team came out of the gates. They were sprinting. Then they kind of tripped up a little bit, like guys kind of catch up on them a little bit. Then they got their legs steady, and then they got ahead of the pack and running against the head of the pack for a while. They hit a rock right now. They stepped on a rock. They stumbled, but they're still in the race right now. And I'm not even talking from a win-loss record. They're still a dangerous team. Just like I heard them say it on Friday. I'm watching the game on Friday. Like, don't let the Brewers get hot right now. They came in here pretty hot. Don't give them any more. And then one of the guys, I forget one of the players are, I forget who it was, came in and was like 0 for 12, one of the Brewers players. He was 0 for 12, and they, they're like, he got a good hit, and like, don't let him get hot right now. But yeah, some teams are get hot. We're getting cold at the right time. The Brewers are hitting the Phillies at the right time. If the Brewers hit the Phillies 2 weeks ago, where they were struggling and we were doing better, this could be a completely different game. I don't know, but that's what I'm saying. Each game is wins, losses aren't weighted. Like I have to keep reminding people this. They're not weighted. So you lose by 1, you lose by 1,000. Guess what? It's still the same L.
So not to shift gears though, but Mike, Al, since we are talking about the Phils and all that stuff, let's give a midterm grade, right? With all the teams right that are going on. So Al, I'll go to you with this Phillies team from where they were the all season up until now. What grade are you giving the Phillies right now, despite the current pothole they just hit? What grade would you give this Phillies team?
Mike, are you going or I going?
No, just you. Just
Oh, just
'cause
me.
I
Okay, I
got
thought
two.
you asked
Yeah, I
something.
got two. No, I got two
Oh,
teams
okay.
lined up for Mike. So we're gonna
Um,
break down all the teams, but I'm gonna let you
Overall, I
lead
have to
off
give
with
this
your
team a B plus to an A minus, maybe A minus. A minus because this team. I mean, if you're the last couple quizzes sucked. Let's be honest. If I'm the teacher of the school right now and I'm teaching the team Phillies over here, I would come up to them and say, "Listen, don't get sluggish. Don't go back to your bad habits. You were doing really well. I've seen this with my own kid. Like, gets really good grades for a while, feels pretty confident, gets a little too overconfident. Like I'd be like, your last 3 tests have been terrible. Don't didn't kill your overall grade point average, but if this keeps happening, it will. I mean,
wow.
like, so I mean, overall, when you're one of the best teams in baseball for most of the last 2 months, in the first 2 months, I got to give you a decent grade. Pitching overall, outside of the last couple, has been really good. Bats, I would put that more of like a B minus at times because there's times they're really good and they get timely hitting, but there's been a handful of times that they haven't, so that hurts their grade point average. The bullpen C minus because they've done enough not to lose too many games. You know what I mean? They've lost a couple games for us,
Jordan Romano, baby. Jordan Romano.
especially in the beginning. But here's Jordan Romano. I mean, if you're looking as a teacher, turnaround test taker so far. He hasn't been perfect, but he's been a lot better than where we started.
Last 15 games, 20 Ks, 10 only
defensively, B C plus maybe. There's times this defense can make you scratch your head. When they struggle on the bats, they tend to struggle in the field too a lot. But overall, the team in my eyes it's a B plus A minus realm right now because you can't give. I don't want to hear they played against every one of these teams. Might I remind you, the Dodgers are going to see the A's more than anybody else except the other three teams in their division, right? So they're going to see the A's a lot. What's it called? The Brewers and the Cardinals, who are other good teams right now, they're going to see the Pirates a lot. Okay, so are we giving them a little pass here because they get to see these guys? No, it's just the grass is always greener right now. So as of right now, if you're looking the last 72 hours, F minus. In what's below a Y? I mean, I don't even know if that's a grade. They were so bad. That's where they are. If you're just going off the last 3 games, but overall, this team has B plus kind of stuff here.
B plus. Okay, well, listen, I got a lot of Y's on my grades. Why is he here? But that's a whole different discussion. Mike, I'm going to give you a team. Ready? Give me your midterm grade for the Philadelphia Flyers. And by the way, we got a lot of comments. Mike Papernick saying C for the Phils, and so is Ryan Swoop. What do you got for the Philadelphia Flyers, Mike?
To be honest with you, for the Flyers, I got a B. And the reason I gave them a B is actually what turned it from a C plus into a B was the signing of Tyson Forrester for a 2-year team-friendly $3.75 million per year. When the kid could have caught him, went out and got a boat. He pretty much, him and his agent went to the Flyers and said, "Listen, we'll give you a team-friendly now, but when these 2 years are up, either you're going to give us what you're going to back up the bank for me, or I'm going to get the bank somewhere else," which it allows the Flyers really in 2 years' time, the salary cap's going to expand and they're going to get out. They're going to have a ton of money to spend. So he really kind of, by them signing him to this deal, that to me moved it up. Plus, they have the number 6 pick in the NHL draft. So we're going to have to wait and see what they're going to do with that. And I just like the overall. I like the overall. Just the way they went about things. A lot of people thought LaPerriere was leaving the organization. You were one of them. And what they did was they said, "Hey, Lappy, no, we don't want you coaching. We want you up here in the front office." So they moved him up to the front office, which was a good move. It's a promotion, right? Kept him happy. So, again, I just feel like the more of these nucleus of the Flyers are around and the young talent that they're bringing in. Jet Luchenko, even though he played juniors for most of the year, when he got to the Phantoms, he was a contributor, and he was last year's first-round pick. So, I mean, it's really boding well for the Flyers. I'm going to give him a B minus for, like I said, with the signing of Forrester. And if everything goes as right, man, they're going to be. I think they're going to be a playoff team next year. I really do. I think they're going to be there. The other one, Pat, the other one that shares that building, no.
Oh, yeah, well, I'm going to let Al answer that one. But for me, I'm going to give you. All right, so I'm going to give. So you got B plus. Al's got B plus for this Phillies. I'm going to go.
Hold on, real quick.
Okay.
I just want to back on mine for 1 second. I'm going to hit up these real quick. C plus, C plus. And I'm not arguing. I want to ask this as a real question to those guys who are out there at least. And I'm giving Mike and Ryan a round of applause because they're willing to put out their feelings on it. But I'm going to push back on it for one thing. If you were a salesman in a company, right? Whatever you do for a job, but just use this as an example. If you're a salesman in the company and you've had a couple sales fall through recently, that you really were hoping some, and listen, let's be honest, some mediocre sales, but they fell through greatly. But overall, you were one of the best, if not the best, salesman in your whole company. And your boss came to you and said, "Hey, guess what, guys? You need to be better. You need to do better. You're barely average right now. What would you respond to that? Because that's what this Phillies team is right now. We're all feeling it with our hearts and looking at it in a microscopic view over the last 72 hours. We look past the wins they get against bad teams. I'm sorry, going 9-1 is not easy for any baseball team against any baseball team. So we got to give that for a little bit. Yes, there is blemishes. That's why I'm saying right now, just from the record alone, you have to put them higher up in the grades. But they're falling down into a B plus category because of some areas they are severely struggling and they need help with. So in my eyes is like, if you were doing as well as the Phillies at work and your boss came to you and said, you're average at best, would you be a little thrown back by that? Just a question. Chew on it for a moment. Now back to my question. I know you were about to ask me, Pat, about a certain other team.
No. Well, I'm about to get there. So I'm going to give a grade for my team. Another team that shares the Wells Fargo Center. I'm going to go right to the Philadelphia Wings. I'm going to give them an F. Our buddy Paul Day, Mike, really tried to dial up a championship team on paper. He has a lot, have the guys in place, made rehaul this team, brought in, looked to be a Brantley O'Neill to be a rookie of the year candidate. But things didn't pan out the way he wanted it. They went on an 8-game losing streak. They start the season hot. The second best team in the league fell, like I said, 8-game losing streak, which bumped them out of the playoff spot. Again, Paul Day trying to address at the trade deadline, bringing a couple new guys in like Nick the Stute, a couple other players to try to help Joe Terrence, Mitch Jones. But no, ultimately, the Philadelphia Wings did fall on their face, and that's where I got to give them an F. Like I said, Paul Day, the general manager, really stepped down, gave Ian Rubel a chance to coach this team to try and make it a playoffs, and to bring the playoff atmosphere to Philadelphia. So I got to give this Philadelphia team, a Wings team, an F. All right,
Okay.
Mike.
Just want to give a little shout out too to Joey Sullivan and Sean Kilrain, our buddies over at the Sully Squad. They both commented. Didn't get a chance. We were kind of making our points. Wanted to say what's up to those two fine gentlemen.
I don't know about fine, Sean, but no, I'm kidding. But listen,
gentlemen, I would use loosely.
yes. Any gentleman who's chimed into this show, I use loosely.
Did you say chime into this shoe?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I like to eat.
He was chewing on his shoe when he said it. So
there goes
in his case.
It's your tongue in your head playing Marco Polo again.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's go, Mike. Philadelphia Eagles. What grade would you give the Eagles right now?
Are you kidding me? Come on, Pat. This is
Pat.
Midterm grade.
Hold on. Because I asked the question's kind of convoluted. Obviously, if you're going just from the months from January 1 to now, they just won the Super Bowl in that time frame. So it's
but I mean, are you happy?
Hold on.
Yes.
But if you're saying of the 2025 season, because that's technically last year's season, it just rolls into this, then it's a little different when you're grading, because we're grading on how this setup is versus the actual play. So you're really kind of a difficult spot.
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
If you're going from the first, Pat, it's like this is a softball. It's soft pitch right here.
Yes.
I mean, come on. It's like you on a Saturday night. You know.
Well, are you happy with the free agent signs? Are you happy with the drafting? I mean, yes, they won the Super Bowl, but you may not have been happy.
Listen, from
you
the
might
Super
not
Bowl,
the
Super Bowl point, yeah, their draft picks, I love their draft picks, and you know what? How we realized, as much as our man Matty doesn't want to give him any kudos, okay, how we learned from his mistakes, okay, and granted, he just proved it again, literally just a couple days ago, right? He signed Bryce Huff. He realized Bryce Huff isn't going to make it in here. So instead of living with the mistake, what does he do? He passes the mistake off on to somebody else, okay, to the 49ers, Pat's favorite team. Okay, he's going to get a mid-level pick, okay, and he's going to save about $8 million this year, which now they're up around, I think, $40 million. I think they have $40 million in cap space.
Yeah, I have to look. I'm going to be honest with you. I did see that. I haven't seen the breakdown totally. I have to wonder that there's got to be some penalties going into next year, or cap penalties. They might have saved $40 million overall, but like, where did the cap penalties come in? Because I mean, he's good, but he can't break every rule in the book.
No. Believe it or not, the 49ers are picking up. They're pretty much, they turned his salary into a signing bonus, and right now they're going to have close to like I read somewhere close to 40 million because of his contract alone. The 49ers are picking up like I think $8 million, and the Eagles are only paying $9 million. It was $17 million he was guaranteed, and they turned the $9 million into a signing bonus, and they paid him outright. And now San Francisco is going to kick out the final $8 million over his next 2 years.
Sean just said they have an additional $6.42 million because of the June 1st release of Darius Slay and James Bradbury.
Right, and then you also have whatchamacallit too. Right, you add that in. That's $33 million right there.
Can I ask a question? Is the June 1st thing kind of ridiculous anymore? I don't haven't truly understand it. Like, if I have to wait to June 1st, you could still pick a team, you could still make a trade. It just doesn't become official until June 1. It's like, what's the point of that?
Yeah, I don't understand that. We used to look forward to it though as kids. Like when I was growing up, man, June 1st, man, you were waiting to read the paper June 2nd to find out who got released and where they could be going. Because back then it was ESPN. You would find out through ESPN or something if somebody big would sign going somewhere. But June 1st cuts you were always kind of wondering who was going to stick around, who wasn't. But getting back to the grade, Patrick, I will let you know. I think as far as I like what he did, he got rid of CJGJ. He's a little older, and they basically got a younger version of him in the draft in Makuba. So
So here we go. This is Ryan going here. He goes, it's A- for the Eagles for Ryan. The Ringo situation, CB replacing Slay, is why it's not an A+. But again, it's like kind of like the Phillies. It's not over yet. They haven't done making moves, and he just opened up more cap space. They just got Bryce Huff out of there, so there's a space that that's not going to be used up on your roster. So it's not done yet. So I know it's mid-season, but it's just like anything outside of an A+. I understand. Listen, with like you said, CJGJ being gone, Darius Slay, I would like to see another veteran, and I don't think there's a chance that there's not another one coming in. So
I don't either. I'm to be honest with you, I think the defensive line, I think they're going to get help there. I really do. Howie has abundance of draft picks now. Okay, if he gets another mid-rounder, he can take a second rounder and a mid-rounder.
Aren't they getting like a 6th round pick or something with the Niners trade of Huff and all that?
No, it's a mid-rounder. It's like 4th or 5th.
Well, I'm wondering because I haven't seen it yet because I heard it was conditional. That's why I was asking.
Yeah, I mean, here's the
thing. If it's conditional with Bryce Huff, I would be surprised if he hits those conditions the way his I don't know. Maybe Bryce Huff has a resurgence moving on to another place because when you're a healthy scratch from a Super Bowl, when you're getting when they're just laying it in, that probably puts something to your ego because obviously the man's an ego person.
Right, and here's the thing. I mean, you could tell he's an ego person. Look, as soon as his final farewell to Philly was him in Eagles gear going like this, saying "deuces bye." So,
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. Plus, he's going to be back with Robert Saleh too, who was his coach in New York. So, but yeah, 2 names to look out for, guys. I think Trey Hendrickson, Howie's got the capital to move to go get him. And also,
Sean, I'm on Sean. I'm on this one. And this name has been coming up way too often now with this move. I wouldn't be surprised either, Sean. That was one I was going to say too.
Yeah, but I feel that's a year too late. To be honest with you, we should have got him last year. I could care less about Justin Simmons. Like I really could. If he comes, he comes. If he don't, he don't. Like, what are you going to do? Are you going to sit Reed? You're going to sit Reed? You're going to sit? I mean, come on. The way I look at it, we wanted him a year ago, and he blew us off to go to Atlanta. Now you want to come here because he sees what type of organization we have and we want a bowl. He's ring chasing. That's all that dude's doing is ring chasing. So next year he'll go play for.
Wait. He went to where last year?
He was in Atlanta last year.
How's that ring chasing?
No, because he went there for the money last year. Eagles offered him he blew the Eagles off and signed with Atlanta. And then turn around, all of a sudden, now we win a ring. Now he wants to come here. Now he wants to play for Vic Fangio. Get the hell out of here, dude. He literally, it was the same money. He left to go to Atlanta. The Eagles and Falcons offered damn near the same amount of money. It wasn't off by much. And I think the Eagles were higher than Atlanta. He took less to go to Atlanta. Now all of a sudden you want to come here? Yeah, I'm good. I'd rather play with these young cats. But anyway, getting back to the Birds, I look at it like this. 2 names to look out for. Trey Hendrickson, like I said, because we have the capital to go get him. Or if they're going to hold off, look for Von Miller. Von Miller is not signed anywhere yet. I would not be surprised if the Eagles try to make him an offer to come in. And everywhere Von has went, he had to be the guy on the line. Coming here, he won't have to be the guy. You know what I mean? He'll be playing next to Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith. And you believe it or not, I like and Jalix Hunt. I like those guys starting. And Al, I got to ask you a question. Does Ty Robinson win Rookie Defensive Player of the Year? Because I think he is.
Oh yeah, I told you. I said it. I said that one of the first things I said talking about the draft with you guys, and I said it before. I'm on the record. Ty Robinson will be the steal of the draft. That's how I look at it. Just because I'm not saying he could be the best guy that they drafted, but the steal because they could be one of the best guys that they drafted in the 3rd round. When a lot of we talked about missing some big pieces that have gone, like Josh Sweat and Milton Williams up in the front, right? I think you're going to see this guy. He just fits the scheme. He fits the personality of this team. What do they call him? The Vanilla Gorilla.
Yeah.
I think I just think he's going to be a monster, and I think he'll be the most what's it called? NFL ready come week 1 more than anybody.
Yeah, I think so too. I like it.
Wait, hold on. Go back to that. That might be the quote of the day right there.
Yeah, I was about to say. Steve,
video game nerds get that reference.
I like what Sean had to say here. He's a former player, Mike. He will just be like CJGJ. You watch. I believe that too, Sean. And I like this other question here. He said, I would take Hendricks any day over Von Miller due to his injuries. Again, so would I. But I mean, if you're looking at if Cincinnati's trying to hold the boat and you can't get a Trey Hendrickson, he's right there. You know what I mean? What did Sean say? Don't forget about the 7th round pick from Virginia Tech. I'm not going to sleep on him, but there's a reason why he's, a 7th round pick, Sean.
All right.
I told you B minus. I told you B minus.
B minus. Okay.
Right, B minus. That's fair.
All right. Let's go to another team for Al. Al, the other team in the Wells Fargo Center, the sloppy 76ers. From January till now, where are you at with that squad?
First of all, F you, Pat, for giving me this one. Let's just start with that. Big old F you. NA? Is NA non-applicable? Don't you have to show up to get graded? It's like you didn't even show up. I mean, let me tell you something. We're doing grades, right? We're doing grades,
Yes.
right? So it's like school. I'm going to give you a school analogy to examine exactly how this Philly or the Sixers team has, treated, especially over the last 6 months, because it was just horrible. It'd be like the equivalent of you going in to take a test,
Yes.
a layup test, a
Right.
simple test,
Yes.
pulling your pants down and taking a big steaming dump on the test, wiping your ass with said test, and then slapping your teacher in the face with shitty test.
You just
That's
got
what the
Pat. You just got Pat all around right there. You know
Yeah, I
that,
know.
right?
It seems that way.
Look at
Mike
him.
just got off.
Look at-
Mike just got off. Mike, are you off camera for a reason?
Yes,
Or you
yes,
around
yes.
too?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. No, I'm not around too. I just, I
Okay.
had to get off camera for a second, but yeah, I'm still here.
Gotcha,
but-
gotcha.
Woo!
Yeah, no pants Sundays. We got you.
Exactly.
But no, I mean that's my grade. I think you can give the best grade I can give. It would be like, okay, then they had to take security to throw him out of the school. He struggled his whole way out of this with security dragging him out because he didn't know what he did wrong. That's the pathetic part about the whole situation. And yeah, so it was not applicable here. That's what I'm going to give him. A big old not applicable, because that team, in my eyes, is not applicable to this city right now because of the BS. This guy hasn't even tried taking a test, let alone passing a test, in the last 3 years.
Yeah, and
wow.
didn't it kind of go from bad to worse too? Like, we have one guy that we can't trade in Embiid. Now you got Paul George. You can't trade him either. Like, so now we're stuck with the old geriatric duo. It's what is it? Who was it on SpongeBob? Barnacle Boy and the other guy. Yeah, come on, like that's Mermaid Man.
Mermaid Man.
Yeah, we have both of them. On our team, they're going to be 110 years old trying to go down the court, and again. I've been advocating for the trade of Joel Embiid for the last 3 years, and God forbid they would have been smart. I'm tired of hearing about how good Daryl Morey is. Like, to me, he's a numbskull. I'd rather put the draft pick of the guys in a 3 coconuts and have a chimpanzee pick out which name. They would do better than Daryl Morey would. He's a dope.
Well, I like that analogy, but yeah. So you're giving. All right, so what we have right now, Al giving Phillies B+, the Flyers from Mike is a B+, the Wings from me is an F, and Mike giving the Eagles a B+. So no one's hit an A except for the last team. I'm going to give the Union. I think the Union actually got an A because they are the best team in the MLS. They have 34 points. They are at arm's length with a brand new head coach that nobody gave a chance to, because Jim Curtin, being that nice guy, being the face of the Philadelphia Union, and the Philadelphia Union front office moved on from him. So, and again, only making minor moves, kind of like the Phillies, making minor moves, and now running away with the MLS is the Philadelphia Union. And Al, I don't know if you had to deal with this at being a beat reporter for the Phils, but the brand new head coach Bradley Carnell of the Philadelphia Union, he's snippy, but the results you're getting is what you want. They're blowing teams off the door. Couple teams they left in draws. They haven't had a loss within 2 months ago. So I got to give this Union team an A. I like what they're doing. So Al, I'm going to go back to you. Have you ever had a deal with a coach that's kind of snippy with the media?
Well,
Or
in my
any player?
years of beat reporting for the Phillies, I've only had Rob Thompson, so no. I've seen Rob kind of get maybe not even testy, just very short answers, not really, doing much with it, just not applying too much, or replying. Actually, not applying, replying too much. When I was covering the Flyers, so I saw a little bit more of it then. So yeah, no, I've dealt with it. It's just not a lot of times they don't, not a lot of times do guys snip back at you. It's more they just don't answer you, or they don't even answer many questions to begin with. They just do the bare minimum that they have to do to appease their contracts, I guess. So I really haven't had to deal with too many guys. Nobody blowing up at me directly. I didn't make any coaches cry. None of those kind of things.
Yeah, not like some people on this panel.
Yeah, only Pat. We let Pat. I let my guard down. Let Pat go be a beat reporter, and he makes a coach cry. So there's that.
Yeah, right. I mean, come on. This one here, I'm going to give a little pushback on what my boy Mike Papernick. We will
agree with Mike.
No, and you're a knucklehead. Like, listen, they were able to shed salary this year. I mean, granted, I did not want to see Morgan Frost get traded. That to me, I feel like is one area where I think they messed up. As far as getting rid of Joe Farabee, that was fine for me. It was obvious that Farabee was not, going to live up to the hype that he initially brought. So getting rid of Farabee, yeah. I hated to see Morgan Frost go, but I would not be surprised if and when Frost becomes a free agent that the Flyers don't try to bring him back. We've seen that the Flyers do that before. I like what they did this year. Yeah, did they not? With the talent that they had, I felt like they're trying to do some things where they were cap strapped, man. They could not really do too many moves that people wanted them to do. I think what happened was in that first year of the rebuild, they played over their head, and the wheels kind of fell off late, and people were expecting them to take that next step when honestly they kind of played over their head to begin with. They kind of came back to reality this year a little bit, and I'm sorry, I'll be the first one. This is June 1st, and I'm going to tell you now, the Flyers will make the playoffs this year. I truly believe
with Tocchet at the helm.
With Tocchet at the helm, they are going to make the playoffs this year. And you want to know why? The one thing is, and I believe this to be true, and me and Matty B talked about this, players, free agents did not want to come here. They did not want to play for Tortorella. That's not the case with Tocchet. That's not the case with Tocchet. Tocchet will be able to get guys in here to come and play. Now, they don't have a whole lot of money. Like, you can forget about Mitch Mariner coming here, but I will tell you this. Mitch Mariner may not come here, but there's a really good chance they could probably nab a John Tavares and bring him in here. Mm-hmm. And can you imagine that front line with Tavares, Mitchkov, and Travis Konecny? That would be one of the decent top lines in the league. You know what I mean? So the way I'm looking at it is this. They played way over their heads in that first year of the rebuild, and the Flyers, what they didn't do is what every other Flyers front office has done before that is kind of bought in on the fool's gold. They didn't buy in on it. They said, look, no, we got to get out from these contracts. This is what we got to do. We want to make sure that once we get there, they want to stay there for a long time. And this is the way you do it. You got to build up through the draft. The Flyers are getting decent drafts, and who's not to say that the Flyers don't pull off some type of deal to move up? The Flyers do have capital. They do have equity to try to move up in this draft. Like they may sit there, they may move from 6 and move up to 4 or move up to 3. They may be able to do that. You know what I mean? You got to sit back and let these guys try to do what they're doing. I mean, we've given in. I mean, God, we gave Chuck Fletcher 5 years, and he hasn't done. I feel like this regime has done more in 2 years than Chuck Fletcher did in 5.
True.
Well,
True.
Adam, this is like every Flyers fans. Like, you have this on quick response. They need to address the goaltending situation. I mean, I always feel like the Flyers have to say that again. I have to give them. You got to give them a little credit because that was an unforeseen situation to deal with Carter Hart. And they probably thought they had their guy. They didn't have that on their bucket list or their to-do list, I guess, is to get, to worry about starting a mainstay goalie. But time will tell.
Yeah, I got, like I said, for me, I'm not going to give him an F. I'll give him a C. Again, Mitchkov proved that he's going to be the next big thing to me. I mean, his skill set alone is great. Moved on from Scott Lofton, what to me was a plus for the team. Joel Farabee, I wasn't in agreement with that move, but I understand what Dane Breyer's vision is. And I understand. I just feel like the only thing that really held you back from moving forward, unfortunately, and again, it kind of resurfaced itself, is the Carter Hart situation, not having a 1A goalie to kind of push Sam Harrison to push him to his expectations of what if he knew he had the starting goaltending job locked down. And he could have been worn out from trying to playing couple back-to-back games, dealing with other rookie goaltenders. He did get hurt throughout the course of the year. I think that's what hurt him, hurt this team in the long run. And again, no defense. I think the defensive situation needs to be addressed with the hockey team moving forward.
News. Okay, sorry. I was going to answer Noobs' question.
Yeah, I just wanted to answer this real quick. Mike, the reason why we're killing the Sixers more than we are killing the Flyers is because the Flyers are trying to do this with young talent. The Flyers didn't go out and get the top free agents and try to pair them all together, and it's not working.
No. The Flyers didn't also go out and just get not even the top free agents. The top free agents that would have been top free agents 5 years ago. Right. They went out. It's rinse and repeat with the Sixers.
It is.
I mean, for all the piss and vinegar that I've seen in this chat for the Phillies right now, right? The Phillies maybe didn't make any large changes in the offseason, but they've kept a good roster together who have had a fighting chance in the playoffs and in further on, right? But the Sixers consistently, and hold on, the Sixers consistently, and I go back to that scenario where I say they shit on the test and they smash the teacher's face with the shitty test because that's what they're doing to you as a fan. They are going out and they're getting guys who are way past their prime and then pairing them with a guy who, I'll give some Mike Laro his flowers, who can't, A, stay healthy, and B, make good decisions right now, it seems like. And people have forgotten about people if I said make the Mount Rushmore of Philly, the major four sports, one of each player, Phillies, Flyers, Eagles, Sixers, before without a question it was Joel Embiid, right?
Yeah.
But now it's like you forget that guy's on our team, right? His knee's not on our team, but he's on the team. But that's my thing is the Sixers have been shoving this garbage down our throats. I mean, talk about a team that never changes. I mean, it's so bad that even Matty B won't blast them.
Yeah, and that's a softball. That's a softball for Matty.
And to me, when you look at the overbody work of 76ers, Al, like you just said, their sales pitch is bringing old names to, I don't know, the Jersey sale. Daryl Morey.
Yeah, no, it's exactly what it is, Pat. Even you figured it out. I mean, it's not rocket science. It's a Jersey sale.
And Daryl Morey really tries to sell the fan base. This team that he's bringing Paul, an over the hill Paul George, an over the hill Eric Gordon. The sales pitch was this team was going to be able to move this franchise forward, and you can't do that. And listen, I'm not going to say Jared McCann's not a bad player. He was great. Unfortunately, he had to go down with a ACL injury. He's been a great addition. The Quentin Grimes, has been a plus for the 76ers. But
Quentin Grimes is not. But I don't understand this Quentin Grimes love. I'm sorry, I don't get it.
But I mean, he was putting up 30 points. But the problem is when your best player is ineffective and nobody's scared of him anymore being down low in the paint because he's banged up from the injury bug, then you have an issue down center, and then you could do whatever you want because now all I got to do is, as an offensive coach or the play against the Sixers, shut down Tyrese Maxey, see what they have. And they don't have much.
And that's what the Knicks did last year. That's exactly what the Knicks did last year, and that's why the Sixers got bounced.
Yeah. Also, this comment right here, I just want to tell Noobs, he was a salary dump. Cal Peterson was a total salary dump. They were trying to get rid of some guys. They took on Cal Peterson's money. They knew that there's a chance maybe he could play, but I don't think there was any, high hopes. That was more of a salary dump with a wish and a prayer kind of wrapped around it.
This one here, I got to wait a minute. Where's it at? Right?
No. Sorry. I'm in the wrong button.
Right right here. This here, Mike, I got to disagree with you because you guys forget they got to the Eastern Conference Finals in 2004 and went up against a juggernaut Tampa team. Okay, and took them to 7 games. Okay, yeah, let's stop with the BS with the Lindros era too, because I lived through the Lindros era, and guess what? He choked every year in the playoffs too. I mean, the one year he does get to the cup, he goes up against the machine in that Detroit team. But let's not forget, he blew 2-3-1 leads his teams blew 2-3-1 leads to the Jersey Devils, one in 95 and the other one in 99. Blew 2-3-1 leads that they were probably the best team in hockey that year. And they ended up choking the bed. They lost again to the Florida Panthers, who I felt they were a better team than. If you took notice with those teams in the late 90s, early 2000s, the team that beat the Flyers usually went on to win the Cup. So I'm not trying to hear that. Like, they made the 10, and how we forget about 2011, or 2010 when the Flyers, when they made a hell of a run. Okay, being the 8th seed, they were the 8th seed that year and made a run to the Cup and took probably the better team. That team should have swept the Flyers out. That Chicago team was definitely much better than that Flyers team, and the Flyers took them to 6. So, no, I don't want to hear that, they haven't been good since the Lindros era. What the hell did they do in the Lindros era?
Yeah, so I was right. Yeah, I forgot. I didn't know exactly who it was, but it was the Provy trade. And that was what it was. So that was the Cal Peterson one.
And hold on. This is another one that Mike said that I'll disagree with. Ed Snyder never changed his ways when he was the owner, and I loved Ed. And guess what? Ed, along with Bobby Clark, along with what's the other guy? Bill Barber and Gary Dornhofer, guess what? They didn't win nothing since 1975. And that's the reason why we don't have a cup since 1975. The Flyers have been in 6 finals since 1975, haven't won any of them. There's a reason why. Because why? Because the whatchamacallit, the organization doesn't change their way of thinking. Okay. And this is what kills me when it comes to people talking about the Flyers, and like they were in these, just like, like the mid-90s was just something. I lived through it, dude. I lived through it. I watched the Flyers in the mid-90s, and guess what? They didn't win anything either. They didn't do nothing different than the 80s Flyers. And I'll tell you what, the 80s Flyers had a better chance, and all 3 times in the 80s, they all ran up against juggernauts. And when I mean juggernauts, you're talking about you want to talk about dynasty teams. The 1980, the Flyers go up against the Islanders. They lose that cup, and that's the first of 4 for the Islanders. Then they play not once but twice. They play Edmonton twice in the 80s. They lose 2 of the 4 cups that Edmonton win. They beat the Flyers in, which 87 was probably the Flyers' best chance to beat Edmonton, but nobody was beating that Edmonton team. And then again, hold on, then they get in there in 97. They go 97. They go up against a Detroit team that was stacked and real good. And then again in 2010, you're going up against a Chicago team. So now I'm tired of hearing about all this great hype about what these great, these.
Well, I think if you look at it overall from that time frame on, the Flyers either they have their ups, make it real close, and then afterwards they're cold for a while, then they get good again, and then they get cold for a while. I mean, it's like 5, 6, 7 years in between any real success for the Flyers, and I get the point. And Noobs, this one, the 2000 thing with the Devils, that one haunts me more than most people actually bring up. Like, people are like, oh man, I would love to see the 93 Phillies win the World Series. I would have too, don't get me wrong. But this was like really my primetime sports. Like, this is when I thought at 17 years old, I would have been 17 years old, that I thought that, that I'd be going to watching a parade down Broad Street. I was so excited. I thought it was a foregone conclusion. That was probably the most eye-opening Philly fan moment I've ever had, was in 2000, like the first one. Because in 93, I was 10 years old. So I really didn't get, that was just new and exciting to me more. Baseball, that invigorated my love for baseball. I was watching it a little bit with my grandparents and my grandfathers and stuff before, my uncles, all that kind of stuff. Like, not truly understanding, but just watching and enjoying them enjoying it. You know what I mean? Watching, the Schmidt era. And then I remember I'm getting all teary-eyed when Schmidt retired in, was it 89 or whatever it was. But, 93 was cool, but I was 17 years old. I'm my own fan at this point. Like, I am consciously made this decision to be a Philly sports fan. I bought into it, and I really thought that this was going to be my, like, parade down Broad Street. And a lot of, older guys I was hanging out with, like my family and some friends, they were telling me, man, finally the drought's over after, since the 70s. And there was a lot of sour pusses after that.
And you know what's funny, Al? Believe it or not, that's when the quote unquote memes actually started. The very first meme that I can remember, honestly, was Eric Lindros laying on the ground after the Scott Stevens hit, and it said Snickers not going anywhere for a while. That was the first meme, and I remember I hated it because of that. And I was at that game 7, dude. You want to talk about, a place getting deathly quiet? Man, Wells Fargo Center, you could hear a pin drop. Every Flyers fan knew that series was over when he went down in game 7. Like I said.
All right. And hold on, I got to push back on this one, Mr. Twisting my words again.
Yeah.
Philadelphia, the city of fighting chances, which is actually kind of a good slogan for them because it's kind of what it is.
Put it on the shirt, Maddie.
Oh yeah, there's much better than the city of champions. No, it's not. Would I love this city to have multiple championships over the last, say, 25, 30 years? Like 2000, the Flyers would have won it. 2001, maybe the Sixers and AI would have beat the Lakers. 2004, the Eagles get their first Super Bowl. Then winning another one in 17, and then maybe winning another one in 22, and then the Phillies winning in 22. Phillies winning in 08, like adding all that to. Would I love to say from 2000 to 2025 that this city has like 8 to 10 championships under our belt? Absolutely. But don't tell me that you can't get it. Like this team isn't exciting and isn't like a fighting chance is what you need. It's the team that ultimately fell apart at the last moment and lost their chance. Listen, we always say this: only one team can win a championship. So yeah, he's Ricky Bobby. There's only first. There ain't no second, third, or fourth. Whatever. That's true for the most part. Would I love to see more of those chances become victories? But yeah, this team is giving you fighting chances.
Yeah, I agree. So again, looking over for everyone who's just chimed in, if you're watching, Al's.
You muted yourself, Pat Bernard.
That's great, Pat. That was the best point you ever made.
Yeah.
Yes. No. So
you should have let him keep going and go. Yes, Pat, and then they just talked over him.
So everybody. Yeah, I just want to know how many people. I want to know how many people out there when Pat muted himself started turning up their computer. Like what?
Yeah, so I got to ask you guys real fast. So before we get out of here, predictions for an NBA Finals and NHL Stanley Cup Finals, and then we'll wrap it up with what's your meal of the day. And I will go first. I'm going to say OKC wins this thing, and then I'm going to say the Florida Panthers win the cup.
Oh, ready? I'm going to go different. I'm going to say the Pacers get their first. I say the Pacers get their first NBA title, and I am going to go with Al. Believe it or not, I am going to go the Florida Panthers. I think Edmonton has been a team. I don't know. I see Florida hoisting the cup. They're going to go back to back. Who do you got?
Yeah, I think Florida's just a team rolling right now. Just over the last few years, I think Matty B would prefer to be a Florida hockey fan right now, just the way they played some dominant hockey for the most part over the last few years. So I do think Florida takes it all. I'm going to predict one thing: the most irrelevant finals in basketball history, or in the last 25 years, from a fan base standpoint. You have the Indiana Pacers, Oklahoma. It's just, listen, the NBA wanted wanted the Knicks to win, but thank you. To me, there is a sports god. Sometimes it feels like there isn't, but thank God we don't have to hear the New York fans. Oh, here we go. We're gonna get them. We're just let them have their out, and thank God. And TJ, give TJ a little love, former Sixer.
Yes.
If I said to you during the early process years, Mike Lauro, that TJ McConnell most liklikely win a championship before any other Sixer.
I would agree with you. I would agree because
you would agree with me, but probably probably early on in the process, you might be like, "What are you, nuts?"
No. Listen, TJ was my guy, dude. I had a TJ McConnell jersey. Like he was my dude.
The Sixers should go get him for next year. Bring in the heart. Bring in the heart, TJ McConnell. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm probably going to go OKC in this one.
I'm just going the opposite route. I think I like the Pacers. I'm not going to pick a game. I just think they're going to be the first team to 4. I just like the way they're playing ball right now. And Pat, if you didn't hear me, I took Florida to win the Stanley Cup. Mike's got Edmonton. I don't trust Edmonton's goaltending. I feel like Florida's got them in the goaltending department.
Oh, he's being
if
doing
Connor
his
McDavid,
good. No, you're good the first time. Go ahead, go back.
If Connor McDavid falls down again in this predicament, how do you look at it? Look at him as like the ultimate choker? I mean, because that's what people are saying about Austin Matthews right now.
Listen, Austin Matthews, you can say that because look at his team. I'm sorry, but Mariner didn't show up in the playoffs. The only guy who showed up for Toronto was Tavares. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. Tavares showed up for him. Everybody else on that team didn't. But that's why Toronto is approaching. Like we think we have it bad as Flyer fans. Try being a Leafs fan. They haven't. It's been longer for them since their last cups. It's been like 50-some years.
Yeah,
like 55 years, something like that.
I'd rather go what we're going through. Believe it or not, it sounds crazy, but I'd rather go what we're going through now.
Exactly, Pat. We agree with you.
I totally agree.
Pat, stop playing with your mute button and your wiener.
Sorry.
All right, come on, man.
Is that better?
I
know. You ask her, not us.
Yeah, it's the home.
Ask your mic. Is that better? Yeah, that is so much better right now.
No, we should definitely end on this note. Hold on though. Before we go out, let's go down here. I'm going to do a little preview, I should say. Guys, tonight, that's right, Sunday through Thursday, 10 p.m. It is the I guess our final boss here.
The Homer Killer.
Yeah, the Homer Killer.
The Homer Terminator.
Yes.
He's out to crush your dreams.
Yes. Make sure you tune in tonight, 10 o'clock for Matty B in the final word. He will be covering all today's sports. Believe it or not, Matty B has this day in Philadelphia sports history, one of the really good segments.
I like his cards. I like the cards one.
Yes, I do like that. Again, guys, on Thursday, make sure you check my partner. That's right, Pat Bernard and Steve. How's he pronounced it?
Fenentes.
Yeah, Steve Fenentes. Make sure you join them two guys for the attacking third as they got you all covered for the Union. And then Friday night, that's right, the Bugs Bunny of It's a Rap Sports Network. My partner again, Pat Bernard, with the wraparound. Make sure you guys join them for that. And here is the final for today. I will have you covered, guys, going into this. So make sure you guys tune in.
It is a PM in the AM weekend.
Yes, and we have all lost. So I got to break the schneid here today.
Yeah, listen, you gotta salvage this because if not, we're never gonna hear the end of this from a certain. We'll call him Schmandish me.
Yeah, and this is the upcoming week. It'll be Steve on Tuesday, Pat again on Wednesday, and myself on Thursday covering the J Series, which you know what you see there? No Matty B. So that means I get a chance to kind of catch him a little bit on some of these games. I believe Matty's like 14-5. I am at 9-4 right now, so I can get 10-11. Hopefully getting close to Matty catching up there. So guys, make sure you definitely tune in to all of our programming here.
Looks like Mikey P is having dinner with Pat Bernard tonight. Spaghetti.
Yes, spaghetti and clams. Yo, that's a definite
Yes, common courtesy on the reach around. Yes, I mean wrapper. Sal is on hiatus right now. Sal has some stuff he's handling. So yeah, Sal's still our boy, but he's on hiatus right there.
Yes. What is the
one thing is a little comments I have to make real quick before we head out is I will not be on the Friday night game this week, and I will not be on PM and the AM next week. It'll just be P and just a P and the M. That's it. No A. I have Delco Day for any of those who are local to the Delco area and you want to come out and support a great cause. It's something I'm on my 10th year of doing. Mike, you've been there. Pat, you've been there too, right? Have you?
No, I've never been there.
Okay.
You got to make it down for that, Pat. It's a good time. I will be there.
I would love to see Matty be there in all his, Northeast glory. and just finding out that Delco in the Northeast is the same thing, just less sidewalks.
Yes.
But it's it's something I've been doing for, like I said, 10 years now. It helps raise money. We raise just charging $6.10 at the door, and from some great sponsors. We've raised tens of thousands of dollars a year doing it. Great. It's 12 hours, 2 p.m. to 2 a.m. June 7th at Dolan's Bar, a name that you guys have heard, especially any of you guys have been around since the EOP era. Dolan's Bar has been a place, and the whole place is fenced off. We're gonna have great bands, great food. Garage Beer is a big sponsor, so they have great garage beer there, and some special moments. And if you guys, they'll be swearing in some Delconians, and we'll be giving out some awards. So
yeah, that's pretty damn cool. The swearing in of Delconians. I've yet to participate in that.
You have to.
Yes, I know. I think you were trying to talk me into it last year. But but yeah, if you're around the Delaware County area, make sure you get out to that. It's such a great time, and you never know who you run into at these things. It becomes the who's who of sports, especially with being at Dolan's. You never know who you're going to run into there. So make sure you guys come out and check it out. But
yes, Booms Delco Day. It's a thing. 10 years. It's actually a holiday now.
Yep.
It's a state holiday, believe it or not. What's on the menu? Adam wants to know. Hold on. Let me just do this. Let me do this real quick. I got an idea. Ready? Pat, do me a favor. Just start telling us what you want for. No. Leave it alone. Just start telling us what you want. You're gonna have for your menu tonight. Go ahead. Just start talking. Yes, that's right, guys. I'm having spaghetti with long sausages. Lots of sausages, spaghetti down the gullet, chewings for chumps. I just swallow it whole.
Okay, we got to end it on that note. Yeah, I don't know. You know what? I have no idea. I might do some hot sausages today. Take a page out of Pat's. Unlike you, Pat, I will not be swallowing them whole. I will be making them, putting them on a sandwich. So I won't be swallowing them
between
whole.
buns.
Yeah, I'll be putting them between a roll. No buns.
I actually have a gala to go to today, a charity event, so I'll be eating there. So whatever they're serving, I'll be eating.
Oh, look at Mr. Al, Mr. Fancy Pants. I got a gala to go to.
Oh, yes. Big one.
What are you going to go look at some pictures on a wall, Al? Sip on some.
No. That's not an art gala. It's just a charity thing.
You got it, buddy. You got it. Well, listen, guys, for the voice of God, Al Safiri, for my right-hand man over there, Pat Bernard, I am Mike Lauro. I will see you guys later on this afternoon for the Fighters Final. It's been real, guys. You have a good week.
See you.